Hey legends, are you ready for this shift or still pretending you're fine? Every second you hesitate, someone else rewrites your story. Wild thoughts, right? Huh. But here's the twist. You're the storm now. Don't breathe. Don't drift. Stay locked in. Welcome to our channel Darkness Throne. Because this video, this moment, this message hits different. And if you're here, you're already ahead. Shockingly ahead. You're not just a viewer, you're the pulse pushing this forward. So drop a comment, claim your space, own your rise, right now. Stay till the end. Because what's coming next cracks open walls. This isn't motivation, it's a mirror. And you're about to see yourself. Funny thing about a locked door, everyone fears it until someone touches the handle. Just a touch. Just enough to hear the hinge quiver. That tiny shake tells you everything. It tells you the door isn't mighty. It's nervous. It's hoping you walk away before you realize how weak it really is. But you're not walking away anymore. You're listening. And the hinge is whispering that you're closer than they ever planned for. Most people don't fail because the path is blocked. They fail because the lock intimidates them more than the truth behind it. They stare. They hesitate. They convince themselves the door is meant for someone else. But you have this strange little habit of leaning closer when things try to scare you. It confuses them. It unsettles them. It breaks the order they built to keep you in place. And the more they watch, the more they realize you aren't afraid of locked doors. You're curious about why they tremble. You see, a trembling hinge means something is desperate to stay shut. Not strong, not certain, desperate. And desperation is a tell, a crack, a signal that whatever waits behind that door isn't prepared for someone who thinks like you, someone who studies silence, someone who reads hesitation like a confession. And once you sense fear in the door itself, you stop being the outsider. You become the threat the door tried to hide from. So you lean in, slowly, calmly, not to break anything, not to force your way through, but to remind the world that power isn't in the lock. Power isn't in the lock. Power is in the one who refuses to be turned away. You don't need to kick. You don't need to shout. You just need to recognize that some barriers shake because they've never faced someone willing to test them without flinching. And now they're facing you. The hinge is trembling louder, and here's the twist they never saw coming. You don't even have to open it yet. Just the idea that you might is enough to shift the air around you. Enough to send a ripple through the ones who counted you out. Enough to wake a strength you forgot you had. That's the secret they never wanted you to hear. The moment you hear the hinge tremble, the door has already lost. And you have already stepped into a version of yourself that doesn't bow, doesn't retreat, doesn't freeze at the first sign of resistance, because you finally understand something they hoped you'd never realize. Locked doors don't keep you out. They expose who you're becoming. And once you hear that hinge tremble, you never go back to silence. Funny how they always say the same thing. Wait. As if time will suddenly feel generous. As if patience will somehow sharpen your edge. They speak like gatekeepers guarding a path they never walked with courage. They cling to order because it makes them feel safe. But here's the twist they keep missing. You were never part of their quiet parade. You were never meant to shuffle forward with your head down. You were never designed to stand behind anyone. They teach you to nod, to smile, to stay in the background until someone calls your name. But you've been studying the pattern long enough to see its cracks. You hear the strain in their instructions. You see the hesitation in their eyes. They know you aren't built to follow the script they rehearsed. They sense something rising behind your calm stare, something that refuses to blend in with the rest of their softened ambition. They can't name it, and that terrifies them more than they admit. Because the moment you realize you're not in their line, their structure collapses. Every rule they pushed onto you loses weight. Every warning they whispered becomes smoke, and you start moving without asking, without waiting, without shrinking your presence to fit someone else's comfort. They watch you step sideways from their system, slip past the places they expected you to stand, and suddenly their order feels flimsy. Their authority feels thin. Their line feels empty. You see, the truth is simple. If they can convince you to wait, they don't have to worry about you rising. If they can keep you in place, they never have to feel threatened. But you've outgrown that trick. You've outgrown the quiet acceptance they fed you since the beginning. Now you walk like someone who sees the shortcuts hidden behind their commands. Now you think like someone who refuses to be framed by limits. Your presence alone breaks the rhythm they tried to press into you. And here's the part they never prepared for. When you stop standing in line, the world looks different. You start to notice paths that twist away from the crowd. You start to feel choices opening beneath your feet. You start to realize that waiting your turn was never a sign of discipline. It was a cage disguised as respect. And once that realization hits, you can never return to the narrow little space they assigned you. The line dissolves the moment you walk past it, so step out, step wide, step in a direction they can't predict. Let them clutch their rules while you shift the ground they thought they owned. Let them whisper about how you moved before anyone called your name, because you weren't meant to be chosen. You were meant to choose. And now the room can feel it. The shift, the spark, the quiet refusal that carries more force than any declaration. You never belonged in their line. You were always meant to create your own path. And now you've taken the first step. They study your patterns like a quiet ledger, waiting for you to repeat the same move twice so they can box your mind in and call it structure. But you're starting to feel the weight of their expectations tighten around your voice, and that pressure reveals the truth they tried to hide, because predictability is a leash disguised as routine. They want you predictable so they can map your reactions, steer your choices, shape your moods, and smile while pretending they mean well. Yet every suggestion they offer nudges you toward the version of yourself that benefits them the most, not the version you're becoming. But you're noticing things now, how your silence makes them shift, how your pauses make them uneasy, how a single unexpected move cracks the comfort they built around your predictability, and that realization sparks a new kind of focus in your mind. You start choosing differently, attacking familiar moments from strange angles, letting your thoughts twist in directions they never prepared for, and suddenly the calm they relied on turns into a storm they can't chart or claim. A storm that carries your own deliberate chaos. Because once you step outside the pattern, once you refuse the path they expect, you gain a freedom, louder than any declaration, a freedom that teaches you how to move with intention, so sharp it feels like strategy wearing a grin. And that's when control dies. Not with noise, not with force, but the moment you decide to live in a way they can't predict and won't forget. Funny how everyone fears pressure. They act like it's a weight waiting to break them. But pressure doesn't arrive to destroy. It arrives to reveal. It strips away the soft excuses you whisper to yourself when no one is watching. It peels back the layers you built just to feel safe. And beneath those layers is something sharper, something tougher, something you tried not to acknowledge, but pressure knows how to find it. When the world tightens around you, your first instinct is to shrink, to breathe smaller, to hope the tension passes. But pressure has a way of lingering, sitting with you, refusing to leave until you stop running from the truth you've avoided. And that truth is simple. You've been carrying strength you never gave yourself credit for. You've been hiding clarity beneath hesitation. You've been burying the edge that once made you bold. Pressure forces you into corners you never intended to visit. Corners where excuses don't survive. Corners where hesitation feels heavier than courage. And that's where transformation begins. Not calm, not in comfort, but in the moment you decide to step forward despite the squeeze. The moment you choose motion instead of retreat. The moment you face the part of you that's been waiting for conflict to sharpen it. And here's the part your mind never said out loud. Pressure isn't your enemy. It's the mirror you avoid. The one that doesn't flatter. The one that doesn't soften your flaws. The one that shows you exactly what you've been delaying. And once you see yourself without the friendly filters, you stop pretending you're weaker than you are. You stop telling yourself small stories. You stop living below your potential. Because you finally understand that pressure doesn't crush. It uncovers. It reveals the strength you hid out of habit. It exposes the focus you locked away. It brings forward the part of you that has teeth. And once that version emerges, you can't return to the quiet apologies you used to make. You can't step back into the smaller shape you wore for comfort. Pressure changed you, shifted you, clarified you, and now the world can feel it. The difference, the steel in your breath, the firmness in your choices, the calm that comes from knowing you didn't break. You just became the version of yourself you were avoiding. Pressure didn't win. It revealed the one who could. Approval is a slow poison. It tastes sweet at first. Recognition, acceptance, a brief spark of belonging. But it fades fast and leaves you chasing another sip, another smile, another nod from someone who never carried your weight. You spend years shaping yourself into a version that fits their comfort, their standard, their expectations. And the entire time, your strength sits in silence, waiting for you to stop asking permission to use it. The moment you break that habit, everything changes. Your mind sharpens. Your choices become faster, cleaner. You stop filtering your thoughts through the fear of being misunderstood. You stop watering down your ambition to keep others at ease. And something rare happens. You gain advantage without lifting your voice, without forcing attention, without begging for validation. Your presence becomes heavier. Your words cut deeper. Your direction becomes your own. People don't follow confidence because it's loud. They follow it because it doesn't bow. When you stop chasing approval, you stop giving others the power to shape your worth. You start deciding your own value, quietly, firmly, without ceremony. And that quiet certainty draws opportunities you never saw before. Not because you fought for them, but because you finally stopped blocking them with self-doubt disguised as friendliness. Approval keeps you predictable. Predictability keeps you controlled. Controlled people rarely rise. They hesitate. They wait. They pause for someone to clap before they move again. But you're done with that. You're learning to move without applause, to plan without permission, to rise without an audience. And the irony is sharp. The less you seek approval, the more respect you attract, not by asking, by existing on your own terms. So let them wonder why you no longer rush to impress. Let them whisper about how you changed your tone. Let them question the calm in your confidence, because the truth is simple. Approval is a leash. Advantage is a choice, and you've finally chosen yourself. The shift begins the second you stop asking for what you can create. Silence unsettles them. It rattles their certainty. It forces them to hear their own doubts echoing louder than your words ever could. Most people fill silence with noise because they fear what it might reveal, but you're learning something they never mastered. Silence, when used with intent, cuts sharper than any argument. It makes them lean in. It makes them guess. It makes them reveal more than you ever need to say. Noise is predictable. Silence is strategy. When you choose not to respond, you shift the weight of the moment onto them. They stumble through explanations. They scramble to interpret your calm. They expose their insecurity piece by piece as they try to read what you're not saying. And each second you remain quiet, your presence grows heavier. Your power grows clearer. You become the one who controls the pace. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify your choices. Silence handles that for you. It keeps your motives hidden and your intentions sharp. It gives you time to observe the cracks in their confidence, the twitch in their tone, the slip in their story. Silence reveals more than chatter ever will. And while they try to fill the space, you study them with a precision they can't escape. Most people mistake silence for weakness. They assume you're unsure, unprepared, passive. Let them think it. Let them lean into that illusion, because their assumptions become your advantage. When you finally choose to speak, your words land with weight. They strike without warning. They shift the direction of the conversation in one clean move. Not because you spoke more, because you spoke less. Silence is the pause before the shift, the breath before the strike, the moment where control changes hands. And when you learn to use it with intention, you gain something rare: command without force, presence without noise, impact without theatrics. Silence becomes the edge most people never see until it's too late, and by then, you've already moved ahead. Being underestimated is a gift wrapped in insult. They look at you and see less potential, less threat, less strength. They assume you're easy to overlook, easy to dismiss, easy to outrun. But that assumption blinds them. It clouds their judgment. It makes them comfortable while you sharpen your edge in the quiet. And comfort is the enemy of caution. When they stop paying attention, you start preparing. Their doubt becomes your shield. Their assumptions become your cover. You move in silence while they celebrate too early. You learn in shadows while they rest on old victories. You grow in places they never bother to look. And by the time they realize you've shifted, it's already too late. You've changed shape. You've changed pace. You've changed direction while they were too busy looking elsewhere. Underestimation is camouflage. It lets you observe without pressure. It lets you build without interference. It lets you rise without resistance. They don't see the depth you're cultivating. They don't see the strength taking form. They don't notice the shift in your eyes or the steel in your voice. They think you're the same, but you're quietly evolving into someone they can't predict. someone they can't contain, someone they can't read at all. And when the moment arrives to reveal what you've become, it won't be loud, it won't be dramatic, it will be simple, direct, inevitable. The kind of shift that makes the room freeze. The kind that forces them to question every assumption they ever made about you. Not because you changed overnight, but because you changed when they weren't watching. You made it. And that proves something. You're not just watching. You're seeing. You're thinking. You're rising. Comment what hit you the hardest and share this with anyone who needs to wake up. Remember, chaos rewards the bold. Stay sharp and keep moving. Ah, really? Did you feel that? Yeah, this is not a joke. What I'm about to show you will shock your mind totally. Oh, this right here is the most brutal awakening your enemies ever experienced. Nah, you can't ignore it. You just can't. Every second, every move will leave them trembling. Can you feel it? Listen up, because what you're about to see is not just chaos, it's precision. The kind of awakening that breaks arrogance, shatters illusions, and flips the world upside down. Your energy, your vibe, your curiosity. It's exactly why this journey works for you. So watch closely. Feel every word, every pause, every twist, and let's pay respect to those who've already embraced the awakening. And don't blink, because your enemies won't know what hit them. Oh, they didn't see this coming. Comment below. Share your fire. Tell me what shook you, what made your blood boil, what hit too close to home. This is your space, your moment, and yeah, you're part of something bigger, something unstoppable. So are you ready? Because once this video hits, your mind, your energy, your game, it levels up like never before. They thought you were fragile. They thought you could be broken. Oh, they were wrong. You've been quiet for too long, too calm, too measured. They watched you like a curiosity, a puzzle, a toy they could manipulate without consequence. Yeah, they assumed your silence was weakness. They assumed patience was fear. But patience, oh, patience is a predator disguised as stillness. And now, as the first sparks ignite, they scramble like insects caught in the sudden light. It's brutal. It's sudden, and it's magnificent. Look at them trying to understand, trying to predict. Nah, they don't even know the rules anymore. Every scheme they plotted, every whisper they shared, every glance they thought hidden, it has already been turned back on them. Their confidence, shattered. Their arrogance, exposed. And all the while, you stand there calm, untouchable, the eye in their storm. Oh, how delicious it is to watch them realize that everything they believed in was a lie. The awakening doesn't come with warning. It arrives as a jolt, as a truth that pierces their arrogance like a blade through shadow. They never anticipated that one move, one revelation, one silent observation could unravel the carefully constructed world they prided themselves on. Every false smile, every feigned power, every mask, it begins to crumble. And with each crack, you grow sharper, stronger, unstoppable. Yes, the brutality of awakening isn't just in chaos, it's in revelation. It's in the quiet moment when they finally understand they miscalculated. They underestimated. They ignored the truth sitting quietly, biding its time, right under their noses. And when realization hits, oh, it is catastrophic, not just for them, but for their illusions, their pride, their sense of control. And you are the calm force they can't comprehend. You are the inevitability they can't outrun. Every second you wait, every breath you take, they unravel further. Every twitch of fear, every glance of uncertainty, every whispered panic, it is music. Yes, music to your eyes, to your mind. You are not cruel. You are precise. You are a force they cannot escape. Their minds race, but their understanding lags, far behind the reality you embody. And with one calculated shift, one subtle move, the beginning of their destruction is complete. They thought this was a game, a skirmish they could win with tactics and tricks. But here's the truth. This is the awakening, the most brutal, the one they will never forget, the one that strips every falsehood and leaves only the reality they refuse to see. And in that reality, only you remain standing. They never realized the game was never theirs to play. Oh, how they flail, how they stumble blindly, thinking that control is theirs, thinking that power is a measure of dominance. Yeah, dominance is an illusion when the one they underestimated has already rewritten the rules. Every step they take is predicted. Every glance they throw, every whispered strategy, it folds back on them like a trap snapping shut. And they don't even see it. Not yet. Not until it's too late. The game, it isn't chaos. It isn't random. It is precision. Brutal precision. And you, silent, calm, calculating, are its architect. Every heartbeat is a lever. Every breath is a trigger. They are scrambling in shadows while you dance. Oh wow. Above the light, unchallenged, untouchable. The irony is exquisite. The more they fight, the faster they fall into the trap they cannot name. Look at their panic, the twitch in the eye, the hesitation in the hand, the doubt clawing at the edges of their mind. Nah, this is not a weakness. This is exposure. They are showing you everything without realizing. Their arrogance was a map, their pride a guide. And now the path is laid bare, a puzzle of their own making, and you move through it like water, silent, unstoppable, inevitable. And the worst part for them? They thought they were hunters. They thought they were tracking you, but the truth? They are prey. Every move they make to gain advantage, every scheme they craft, it only feeds the momentum you've built. Every calculated pause, every quiet observation, every slight shift in your demeanor, it fractures their world further until they are no longer a threat, but a warning. Yes, the awakening is cruel because it is unseen. It is psychological. It is surgical. It doesn't smash. It slices. Not with brute force, but with the subtle terror of realization. They feel it in their chest, in their gut, in the silent recognition that they never stood a chance. And as they scramble, the truth settles. The game was never theirs, and you were never playing by their rules. The brilliance of this moment is that it is both immediate and endless. They are trapped in the cycle they created. Each failed attempt to regain control only tightens the noose of their awareness. Oh, They will remember this, not just as defeat, not as misfortune, but as the day reality looked them in the eye and they realized they were powerless. The sharpest cuts are invisible until they bleed through every thought. Oh yeah, they have no idea. Every move they make, every attempt to regain footing is being calculated, observed, folded back into their own undoing. They think they are seeing the battlefield, but the battlefield is inside their minds. Every fear they buried, every hesitation they ignored, every lie they told themselves, they are all there waiting. And you are the one holding the mirror. Silent, patient, inevitable. Nah, it isn't about destruction. It's about exposure. Every blink of panic, every twitch of doubt, every frantic heartbeat, they reveal more than they intend. You watch, unshaken, as the illusions they relied on collapse quietly. Not with noise, not with chaos, but with the slow, terrifying precision of truth. The truth has a rhythm, a pulse, a silence that screams louder than any weapon they could wield. And in that silence, you dominate. Oh, they begin to see it. A glimpse, a crack, the realization that all their strategies, all their cunning, all their careful manipulations mean nothing. Not because they were weak, but because they were blind. Blind to patience, blind to foresight, blind to the quiet force that bends reality without touching it. And you move through their panic like smoke through walls, untouchable, unseen, unstoppable. The brilliance of this unseen battlefield is that it doesn't obey their rules. It doesn't rush. It doesn't falter. It doesn't tire. You are inside it, yes. But more than that, you are the pulse that drives it. Every misstep they make, every desperate reaction only confirms your mastery. They are unraveling, yet they do not know why. They are scrambling, yet they do not know the pattern. They are terrified, yet they cannot stop it. And the most beautiful part? They cannot prepare. Every measure they take is already anticipated. Every alliance they forge is already broken. Every thought they hide is already exposed. They are prey. Prey to the very intelligence they despised. Prey to the patience they mocked. Prey to the inevitability they never imagined. And when the weight of their own awareness finally crashes upon them, it will be devastating. Every second of panic, every whispered doubt, every shadow of fear brings them closer to complete comprehension. The kind of comprehension that shatters pride and leaves only truth. The awakening is not in what you destroy, it is in what you reveal. And oh, they are about to see themselves more clearly than ever. Power doesn't roar, it whispers. It slips quietly through cracks until the whole structure falls apart. Oh, they didn't see it coming. Not the way it unfolded. Not the quiet collapse that begins at the edges and works inward. Yeah, they expected an explosion, something loud, something dramatic. But power, real power, doesn't announce itself. It just appears. It just happens. And by the time they realize what's happening, it's already too late. Their plans are trembling now. Every piece they built so carefully is shaking under the weight of truth. Every word they used to manipulate, every lie they told to maintain control, it's all collapsing. You watch it happen, not with joy, but with clarity. The clarity of someone who understands that destruction isn't chaos, it's precision. You didn't push it over. You simply removed the illusion holding it up. And now, gravity does the rest. Oh wow. The irony. They spent so long pretending to be strong, so long convincing others they were unbreakable, yet their strength was borrowed. Their confidence was a mask stitched together by fear. And now that the mask has fallen, they are exposed, bare, fragile, uncertain. It's brutal, yes, but necessary. The truth always has consequences, and the cost of deception is always paid in full. Nah, this isn't revenge, it's a correction. It's the universe returning balance in silence. You didn't come to destroy them out of hate. You came to awaken them through consequence. That's the difference between cruelty and purpose. Cruelty aims to harm. Purpose aims to reveal. And what's being revealed now? The truth that strength built on lies cannot stand. The truth that patience always outlasts arrogance. The truth that silence wins. Watch closely. The collapse isn't loud. It's detailed. You can see it in their eyes, the flicker of disbelief. You can see it in their posture, the weight of realization pressing down. You can see it in the hesitation before they speak, that brief pause before they admit to themselves, if not to others, that everything they stood on is gone. It's fascinating and inevitable. Every empire built on illusion must fall. Every ego inflated by deceit must burst. Every false claim of control must meet the truth of limitation. And now, as their entire foundation disintegrates, they look around for someone to blame, someone to fight. But there's no one there. Only the reflection of their own actions, staring back. You don't gloat. You don't taunt. You stand in silence, steady, grounded, watching them learn what they refuse to hear. This is the anatomy of collapse. Precise, psychological, complete. They will remember this day, not as defeat, but as the undeniable truth of your presence. Oh yeah, it's finally here. The aftermath, the silence after the storm. Look around. Their structures lie in ruin, not because you tore them down, but because the truth revealed itself with such precision that nothing could survive. Every doubt they buried, every lie they lived by, every pretense of control, it has crumbled. And you stand in the center, steady, untouchable, the axis around which the chaos spun and fell. Nah, it isn't enough to simply outlast them. Survival alone is trivial. Ascension is what defines the legend, and ascension isn't loud. It's deliberate. It's the calm that follows destruction, the clarity that emerges from disorder. Every breath you take now is a statement. Nothing built on illusion can withstand the force of patience, preparation, and insight. And you are the embodiment of all three. Oh, they watch you, eyes wide, hearts pounding, minds racing. And what do they see? Not a tyrant, not a conqueror, but it is inevitable. A truth that they cannot touch, a presence that cannot be shaken. They may try, they may tremble, they may scramble to reclaim what they lost, but each attempt only confirms the awakening they never wanted to face. Each failure only solidifies your command over the chaos they created. The brilliance of this moment is in its subtlety. You don't need to shout. You don't need to prove. You simply exist in the clarity of mastery. Every misstep they took, every overreach, every whisper of arrogance has led them here. And now, here they are, forced to confront the consequences of underestimating you. The awakening was brutal. Yes, but necessary. Brutality is not in punishment. It's in revelation. And revelation is unstoppable. Every lesson they learn now will echo forever. Every failure, every moment of hesitation, every glimpse of their own fragility etched into memory. And while they struggle in the shadows of their collapse, you rise, not as a shadow, but as a presence they cannot ignore. Every step forward, every breath, every glance is a reminder. The one they underestimated is untouchable. Oh, the storm has passed, and yet its mark endures. The battlefield lies behind, but the path ahead is clear. The awakening is complete. The truth is undeniable. And you are a legend, not because they fear you, not because they hate you, not because they envy you, but because you transformed the impossible into reality, because you turned patience into power, because you turned silence into dominance. And there it is, the most brutal awakening your enemies ever faced. Oh, did you feel that hit? Yeah, that's the power of patience, strategy, and knowing your worth. Nah, don't underestimate it. Your enemies scrambled. They faltered, they saw the truth too late. And you stood unshaken, unstoppable, unbreakable. Wow. That's the energy you need to carry forward, to own your life, to level up every move you make. Remember, every second you stay focused, every lesson you take, you're not just surviving, you're ascending, becoming legendary, just like you deserve. So comment below. Tell me what shook you, what lit your fire, because your words, your energy, your presence, it fuels this journey. It keeps the awakening alive. And don't forget, you're part of this. You're the reason we rise, the reason the storm exists, the reason the impossible becomes real. So take this power, own it, and step into your dominance, because the world waits for no one but legends like you. They leave a mark that lasts forever.